Did you know every 60 seconds, over 1 million minutes of live stream content is watched across YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok? From real life adventures to gaming to gambling, people love streaming their lives and millions love tuning in. But of course, with so many live streams happening all across the world, it goes without saying that some take a dark turn. I'm Ryan from Tragedy Tales, and in this video, we're diving into 5 more shocking live streams that sadly turned fatal. From the man who streamed a dangerous joyride all to Facebook, to an online beef that went too far. As usual, this week, we've got streams from all across the world that will make you hold your loved ones close. So you guys know the drill, strap in and draw the curtains, and let's get right into it. First up, we've got a live stream that started with smiles and joy, but swiftly turned into pure terror. It began on the dark early morning of October the 13th, 2018 in Adams County, Colorado. Known for its towering peaks of the Rocky Mountains, Colorado was also home to 44-year-old Brian Kirby. Brian was born and raised in the state, and he seemed like your average middle-aged man. All throughout his life, he was obsessed with powerful American muscle machines. So, when he got to his older years, he slowly began to acquire vehicles that when he was younger, he wouldn't have dreamt of owning. One of these vehicles was his prized possession, a Chrysler 300 SRT8. This car featured a massive 6.4-litre Hemi V8 engine capable of producing a staggering 470 horsepower. So this car is no joke. With the moon shining down from above, early in the morning on October the 18th, Brian had the amazing idea to go for a night car ride. Not really thinking too much about it, Brian hopped into his Chrysler and started the engine. As he did this, he decided that he would share this night ride to all of his friends that are awake on his Facebook by doing a stream. A very dangerous move. At around 3 AM, the stream went live, showing Brian driving along the seemingly empty dark roads of the E470 highway. On stream, the car pierces the darkness with its bright headlights, storming ahead with no issues in sight. Just minutes into the stream, it was clear that Brian was trying to show off. He was speeding excessively, and when the camera pans down to show the speedometer, he was already reaching speeds of over 140. With the music blasting in the background that I obviously can't play here due to copyright, the camera repeatedly shows the road flying ahead and repeatedly flicks down to the speedometer. He was reading and responding to comments from viewers in real time, and at one point he even said, "We cruise at 140.
I don't play with this shit. That's 150. They doing 150.
Astonishingly, the stream continued for 7 minutes, with Brian cruising at these ludicrous speeds with little to no care in the world, reaching a top speed of a stupid 167 miles an hour. He was looking at his phone, barely paying attention to the road ahead, until disaster struck. All captured on stream, Brian can be seen still speeding ahead, looking at his phone and his speedometer, and then he chooses to swap lanes at the worst possible moment. On camera, he can be seen swapping lanes without looking, and as he does so, he collided with a white sedan travelling along the highway at 120 miles an hour. The white sedan, being driven by 67-year-old Robert Hamilton, was hit by Brian's Chrysler from behind. The force of the crash caused both cars to roll over several times on the highway, sending them straight down an embankment. When Brian regained consciousness, he climbed out of his wreck, and only then did he realise what he'd done. In the crash, while he had survived with just a few scratches and bruises, Robert Hamilton, who was just driving along the motorway, minding his own business, wasn't so lucky. He was internally decapitated as his car flipped and died before the car even came to a stop. Now, what would any normal person do in this situation? Well, for starters, you wouldn't even get in this situation because you wouldn't be driving at stupid o'clock and you wouldn't be streaming doing 100+ miles an hour in the dark. But regardless, what a normal person would do is call the authorities and confess, own up to your mistakes, and own up to the fact that you are responsible for a man's death. Well, this is the opposite of what Brian decided to do that night. Upon realizing that Robert was dead, Brian fled the scene without calling the police or even an ambulance, leaving Robert dead in his vehicle at the bottom of an embankment all night. It was only when the sun began to rise did other commuters notice the wreck, and of course there was nothing that they could do. Brian wasn't intoxicated, nor was he in a rush. He was simply showing off in his car in the middle of the night with zero regard for anyone else's life. Soon after, a manhunt ensued by the Colorado State Police to find who was responsible. Luckily, it didn't take long for Brian to be apprehended and arrested by the police after they found the stream still live on Facebook. On July the 15th, 2021, the prosecution charged Brian with first-degree extreme indifference murder and leaving the scene of an accident resulting in death. Brian argued in court that his behaviour didn't amount to that level of first-degree murder because he did not intend to kill anyone. The judge made it clear that all of this was just so avoidable. Ultimately, the court sentenced him to 15 years in prison. Now, I'm sure we've all been driving down the motorway, or for you USA folks, the highway, and you've seen a dude fly past driving way past the speed limit and he just disappears into the distance. It always makes me think that one mistake, just one misjudgment at that speed, and it's all over. Not only was Brian driving at ludicrous speeds, but he was also on his phone, distracted, reading comments and replying to them in real time. To be honest, it's a miracle that he didn't crash before at the speeds that he was travelling, but it's tragic that an innocent man who was loved by so many had to pay the price for Brian's severe lack of care. To me, one of the biggest draws of live streams is that everything unfolds in real time. You witness raw, unfiltered reactions as events happen. While this immediacy is a benefit, it can also be a curse. Countless streams have taken a dark turn, with audiences watching in shock, and this entry is another shocking example. The stream in question begins in the small city of Zapopan, located in western Mexico's Jalisco state, on a warm, sunny day of March the 13th, 2025. The morning passed like any other, but by afternoon, hundreds of eyes were glued to their screens, watching something that they never, ever should have witnessed. The stream that they were watching was the stream of 23-year-old Atziri Valeria Marquez Lopez, known to her followers as just Valeria. A rising figure in Mexico's influencer scene, Valeria had cultivated a large following through Instagram and TikTok, where she posted polished content blending beauty, fashion, and aspirational lifestyle. She had 225,000 followers on Instagram and nearly 100,000 followers on TikTok. But her reach extended beyond beauty tutorials. Valeria had a background in modeling and appeared in several regional music videos and was even crowned Miss Rostro in 2021. In late August 2024, she brought her personal brand into the physical world, founding Blossom, the beauty lounge in Zapopan. This beauty lounge was more than just a salon, it was a backdrop for her brand, a symbol of her independence, and tragically, the site of her final live stream. On that fateful day of May the 13th, Valeria went live, streaming directly to TikTok from inside her salon. The stream started like any other. She was calm and casual, she chatted with a colleague, and the faint sound of music filled the background. Viewers tuned in, as they always did, expecting beauty tips or perhaps a glimpse into the daily life of a young entrepreneur.
No sé qué largos son mis pestañas. Y ahorita la chava que está en las pestañas está ocupada.
On this stream, Valeria is in a salon with her colleague and friend Erica. Early in, Erica tells Valeria that someone had come to deliver something while she was away. She said that she couldn't see what it was because the bag that he was holding wasn't see-through, and said that it wasn't an official delivery driver and she couldn't see his face. When Erica told him that Valeria wasn't in, he said that he would return in an hour to deliver it. She questioned aloud why he didn't just drop it off then. If he wasn't a courier, who was he? and wondered why she had to be in when it was delivered.
Erica starts by saying, I couldn't see what it was because the bag was not see-through. And Valeria says, oh, an expensive gift? And then Erica goes on to say he was not a delivery driver. He said he wasn't a delivery driver. Valeria says, well, if he wasn't a delivery driver, then what was he or who was it? Here she says, I think I'm going to leave because I'm sketched out. It's sketchy, right? Yeah. I don't know, dude. This whole situation, this whole shit has me intrigued. Somebody in her life said, well, they did say it was expensive, so maybe they didn't want to leave it there because it was an expensive gift. He thought she was Valeria and was asking to see Valeria, and she said, no, she's not here, but if you want to leave it here, you can, and she'll get it. And he said, okay, well, she's not here. And she said, no, but this is her business, so when she comes back. And he said, no, I need to get a picture of her grabbing it.
On stream, she said that she was going to leave, and at this exact moment, she received 7 texts back-to-back from another friend called Vivian, telling her to remain where she was, remain in the salon, and wait for the delivery. Very, very odd.
I'm leaving.
Mañana no creo que les grabe live, entonces
I'm not going to do a live tomorrow, so
va a ser
I'll do one another day.
otro día.
Now come the back-to-back messages from Vivian, where allegedly she's telling Valeria to wait and coaxing her to stay.
Que me espere, dice la Biblia, que porque quiere ver mi cara.
Oh, Vivian said I should wait, that she wants to see my face.
Pendeja, que me tengo que ir.
On the last part, she was saying, rápido, pendeja, porque tengo que ir. Ya me tengo que ir. That means, hurry up, bitch, because I gotta go. I have to leave. I need to go.
Then, during the stream, a man approaches the salon wearing a motorbike helmet. Valeria says hello to him, and he says that he had a delivery. The delivery man asks if she was Valeria, meaning he didn't know what she looked like, to which she says yes, and mutes the live stream. You can see Valeria listening as the delivery man speaks, and then, without a second's hesitation, he pulls out a loaded gun.
And then Valeria says, oh, here they come. And then Erica says, oh, yeah. They just asked for her name, and she mutes the live right there.
Ya viene. Hola. Sí.
It's clear that Valeria had no time to react whatsoever before he pulled the trigger, firing 3 to 4 shots at point blank. Sadly, Valeria was hit in the chest, leg, and then in the top of her head, killing her instantly. She then slumped over, dead, live in front of hundreds of viewers. The stream continues for around 10 seconds. The phone is then swiftly grabbed by her colleague, who stopped the stream. Absolutely terrifying. Authorities descended on the area, but the shooter was long gone. Public outcry followed. People left flowers at her salon, paying tribute to a young aspiring model, stolen far too soon. Police are investigating this as a case of femicide, which is essentially where someone is murdered purely because of their gender, a growing, worrying problem in Mexico. Her grave was vandalized shortly after candles and flowers were placed, and not long after that, her TikTok account was deactivated. As this is a recent case, investigations are still ongoing. The only confirmed suspect is her ex-boyfriend, who allegedly is affiliated with a local cartel, who many believe may have paid to have her killed. But rumours are running rampant online, particularly around the role of her friend Vivian and her colleague Erica. After the stream ends, Erica's face was not one that you'd expect from someone who had just witnessed a brutal murder. Instead, it appeared, dare I say, indifferent, like she didn't care at all. The first thing that she did was take Valeria's phone and her computer, turn off the stream before checking on her or calling the police. Her friend Vivian, who texts Valeria to stay the exact moment she said she was going to leave, is also under some suspicion. However, she has since come out and made public statements refuting her involvement in Valeria's murder. Now, this entry was utterly horrifying and deeply unsettling. Watching the video, knowing that she would be dead within the hour, is haunting. I'm genuinely curious to hear your guys' thoughts below as to whether her colleague was involved, or was it her ex, or I'm interested in all of your thoughts below. The premeditation, it turns your blood cold. Sometimes on this channel, the most haunting moments occur in broad daylight, during normal activities and without a second's notice. Sometimes it's completely random, and sometimes it's because someone is taking too many risks. Sadly, this entry is the latter. This eerie stream begins on July the 6th, 2017. That day, Facebook users were scrolling down their feeds, as they usually did, when some spotted an unusual stream. Upon clicking on it, it was the stream of 22-year-old Nikola Valova. It was the afternoon, and on stream you can see Nikola sat in the passenger seat of a car. In the driver's seat was her 21-year-old friend, also named Nikola. The pair were speeding through narrow roads near the village of Obnice, close to the town of Most, in the Czech Republic. On video you can see the pair smiling and laughing, and the very first thing that Nikola says to the camera is that there's prohibitory signs everywhere and that they didn't care about them. The stream continues, showing them both having fun in the car. Both occupants were looking at the phone and communicating with viewers. Before long, they were dangerously breaking the speed limit, paying little attention as they blasted down the windy, narrow roads. The pair say on stream that they were heading to the town of Most because the town that they'd just been in was very boring. They were going to meet some people and have a party as soon as they got there. Traveling to the town of Most, the pair can be seen singing, communicating with people in the chat. They constantly reference the speedo, and at one point they reached 75 miles an hour on a road with just a 50 mile an hour limit. At approximately 10 minutes and 40 seconds into the live stream, they are still driving at simply ludicrous speeds. And as you guys know, it's all fun and games until it's not. On stream, they came up to a bend, and then as they got to it, it was clear that they were traveling way too quick. All on stream, you can see the passenger's face change as she realizes they were going to crash.
No, takže nikdo nic, jo, žádný sráz, jdeme z mostu a nudíme se. Tak teď vyjíždím z mostu. Teď vyjíždíme z mostu. Takže nám to někdo... 8:02. Tak nám někdo počítejte, kolik budeme v Teplicíku, že ona má Herbího. A ten normálně jela jsem do mostu 180. Já myslela, že jí vyskočím, má ně v jízdě. A jedu, hele, policajti. Policajti, no máme taky jedu 120. Jedeme 120. Během chvilky vidíte to, ale blázen. A co v Bylině, pokud až budete projíždět? 140. Můžeme, hele Járo, ale kde přesně v Bylině sejdem? No počkej, my už jdeme, jo, v Bylině, ne? No, my jdeme teprve. My teprve jako vyjíždíme z mostu, Járo. My to bereme přes Prahu, Járo. Ne, v Bylině se sejdem, tak u Teska. Za 5 minut. Za 5 minut u Teska. Stíháš? Hele, posral nás pták, tady. Ty vole. Teď kolik jedeš? Ty pičo!
Within a blink of an eye, a huge impact could be heard. They collided with the crash barrier at a horrifying speed, crumpling the car and causing it to flip. Hauntingly, however, the stream did not conclude there. The sound of the pair singing was now replaced with a blood-curdling silence. All that could be heard was the sound of the window wipers and the occasional gasp for air. About 2 minutes later, the first driver reached the wreckage. He tries to shout for them and tries to help them, but they are both unresponsive. Desperately, he shouts for someone to call an ambulance as he works to try to pry the door open.
Hey, Holky. Roku, telefon! Holky! Holky! Do prdele. Máte telefon? Obrníte!
Paramedics and police were called, and Good Samaritans worked together to try and save their lives. Amazingly, despite suffering pretty bad wounds herself, the passenger had regained consciousness shortly after being discovered, and even spoke to first responders asking what had happened.
Nemáme je vytáhnout? Radši vytažte. Bude to v pořádku, sanitka už jede. Ležte, prosím, ležte. Ležte, nehýbejte se.
Ne, o tu zastávku, přesně tak, jedno auto.
Ležte, v pořádku, sanitka už jede.
Ale hejbe hlavou.
Ležte, prosím, ležte.
Slečno, ona vypadá, jako kdyby spala, jako kdyby chrápala. Ty tady máš kusanici. Ona má stisknutý zuby.
Ležte, vydržte chviličku, prosím, vydržte chviličku. Prosím, nehýbejte se. Vydržte chviličku, oni vám pomůžou. Uvidíte, to bude dobré, bude všechno v pořádku.
Dejchá. Je tady ta voda, ne?
Není právě.
Chviličku vydržte, už tady budou, za chviličku vám pomůžou.
Nějaký hadr nemáte? Cože? Hadr nebo něco. Vážně? Nemám. Ne, ty jí nedávej, jenom to nalej to na ní. Na ní jenom.
Ne, nedávejte pít, radši ne, ať se jde to. Třeba ovlaží, dejte mi na ruku.
Tak.
Já vás trošičku ovlažím hlavičku, jo. Vydržte, bude to dobré. Tady tato hlava jí bolí, říkala, že ruka, ale ona možná měla jenom zalehlou. Uvidíte, to bude dobré.
The other Nicole, her friend who was driving, wasn't so lucky. She was pinned under the steering wheel in a contorted and twisted way. She remained unconscious and was snoring very loudly, otherwise known as a death rattle. Minutes later, ambulances and police finally arrive. And still, the stream continues. You can hear first responders getting them out of the car before one paramedic grabs the phone and puts it in his car.
Ale tam se válel ještě mobil, tak...
Jo. Dvěstě 784 790.
Tak
Ale obsat, vyfotit ne, protože tam nesprovoznili kopírku. Tam je nafocený na foťáku.
Dobrý. Tady je frustrovaný, že jde na místo.
Řekli vám doktoři, co...
Jak seklo.
At 43 minutes and 30 seconds into the stream, the passenger's dad grabs the phone and ends the horrific live stream. Nicola, the passenger, survived this ordeal and eventually went on to make a full recovery. But sadly, the driver just wasn't so lucky. After paramedics dragged her out of the wreck, it was clear that she had sustained severe injuries and she was pronounced dead upon arriving at the hospital. Now watching the footage back, seeing how happy they both were, seeing how much of a great time they were having, unaware of what tragedy was soon to unfold, it's just horrible and just sad. This is sadly yet another case of careless and dangerous driving. The driver was paying far too much attention to the phone that the passenger was holding that she completely forgot about safety, leading to her almost killing her friend and causing her tragic demise at the young age of 21. If you're going to take anything away from this case, it's to not go on your phone while driving, to not speed, and most importantly, pay attention to the road, because one glance away, one distraction, and it can kill you. This next shocking stream occurred on April the 27th, 2022, in what appears to be Russia. That day, 49-year-old Alexei, better known by his online handle as Offset, went live once again for his friends and followers, diving right back into another session of Escape from Tarkov. Whether it was YouTube, Twitch, or the Russian streaming platform Trovo, Alexei lived for the thrill of going live. He didn't have thousands of followers, but he showed up every day to stream like he did. By late April, he had been streaming Tarkov consistently for at least 4 months. He had built a modest but loyal audience who tuned in to his no-nonsense gameplay and straightforward attitude. That night, the stream opened normally. The camera showed Alexei seated in his chair against a pale wallpapered wall. His headset was on, and Alexei is calm and focused. His attention was locked in, and nothing seemed out of the ordinary.
Так, ребят, я вот здесь, я выхожу на вас, я. Вы убили его?
Слева был. Не знаю. Ну, кто гранату прокинул, не наш. Это был ЧВК с пилигримом.
With Alexei sat upright, his face neutral, for 20 minutes he played Tarkov like it was any other day, talking occasionally to viewers and reacting to the gameplay. Everything about the stream felt completely routine. Then, without warning, it wasn't. At approximately 20 minutes and 15 seconds into the stream, Alexei suddenly raised his hand to the side of his head and he rubbed his temple. His face twisted into clear discomfort. At first, it looked like he might just be having some sort of phase, but then his expression changed. His breathing quickened, his eyes rolled to the back of his head, and he began to lose consciousness. Soon he began to gasp. For over a minute, viewers watched in agony as he struggled to breathe, contorting and shifting in his chair, trying to push through whatever was happening to him. There was no sound on stream other than his shallow, ragged breaths, no cries for help, just the laboured rhythm of someone in serious, possibly fatal medical distress.
Мне кажется, это не то на стриме. Мне кажется, это не то на стриме.
Что не то?
Ну, с Лёхой.
Then, gradually, the movement stopped. Alexei slumped back in his chair, and his body fell still. And there he sat, lifeless, all while viewers watched in horror. Time passed. 5 minutes, 10, then 20, he never moved again. The game stayed open for around 30 to 40 minutes before it closed, showing just a black screen with the camera in the corner showing him dead. Just minutes earlier, this was a normal gaming session. Now it was something that no one expected to witness. Alexei had died right there on stream. It wasn't until nearly an hour later that someone finally managed to contact his family. The stream continued to run until Alexei's mother walked into frame. You can see the look on her face. She knew there was nothing she could do. She checked for a pulse, and she could not find one. After realizing that he was long gone, she walked off camera and the stream cut out. Now this was just tragic. There was no warning, no last words, just a slow, terrifying breakdown, captured all on live. Unfortunately, the cause of Alexei's death is unknown, but it's assumed that he died from a catastrophic heart attack or possibly a stroke. It's a horrifying reminder of life's fragility. When Alexei woke up that morning, he had no idea that he would die. He had no idea that when he started that stream that he would be dead within the hour. But at least he died doing what he loved. There's all kind of live streams out there, from gaming to cooking to dancing, but for some people, IRL streams or in real life streams are their go-to. They just can't get enough of spectating someone else's life in real time. But the only problem with IRL streams is that if the streamer gets any enemies, they know exactly where they are. With that in mind, this entry begins on the evening of June the 8th, 2025. But before we can get into the events that unfolded that night, we need to roll the clocks back at least a year and a half. Around this time, an online beef started between two Las Vegas YouTubers. The first channel in question was named Sin City Manny and was run by 41-year-old Manuel D. Ruiz. The second channel in question went by the name of Finny the Legend and was run by 44-year-old Rodney Finley and his wife, 43-year-old Tanisha Finley. Both channels basically covered the same content. Almost every day they would go live, sometimes multiple times, showing them walking around Las Vegas, checking out popular locations, and enjoying themselves. Because the pair do similar content in the same area, it wasn't long before they met each other, and it wasn't long before they got into a dispute. This dispute started out as a petty feud over stolen content, and what started as light jabs and passive-aggressive comments soon escalated into increasingly hostile exchanges, both off and on camera, with followers of both channels loving every minute of it, egging them on, fueling the drama. Things soon turned physical when the pair stumbled into each other during a live stream shortly after their beef in 2023. The pair began shouting and pushing each other, and Manny was cited for battery and harassment. This beef continued to escalate, and at the start of 2025, Manny allegedly accused Rodney of doxing a member of his family, while Rodney claimed that Manny had been harassing him and interfering with his public meetups. Both of them were harassing each other for clout, donations, and money. These disputes continued, and in 2025, Rodney submitted 2 copyright claims on Manny's channel, meaning that Manny was just one away from being deleted. This really got to him, and the bickering and arguing continued, with Manny threatening Rodney, saying, "I hope your mother has a black dress, because I'ma kill you."
It was just back and forth, back and forth. He told him, he said, he talked about the whole family. He said, "I hope your mom have a black dress because I'm gonna kill you."
This all came to a head on the evening of June the 8th, 2025. It was a Sunday night in Vegas. Manny and Rodney had both gone live on their YouTube, and it was getting dark. Manny was out that night with his wife, and so was Rodney. Rodney had actually been live on his channel once already that morning, and eerily, this first stream begins with Queen blasting in the background, with lyrics stating, "If I'm not back again this time tomorrow, carry on."
Sorry, y'all. I got it, but it ain't. go. Let's go, donut.
The day before this, Manny had actually posted a video to his social media showing him driving around Vegas looking for Rodney. In this video, he says to the camera that he'd been into every casino and every club that Manny frequented, and he was nowhere to be seen.
Jerome, I'm out here searching for my baby. But I went through every fucking casino there is. I heard there's one of my biggest fans here in fucking town. I was dying to see him. Fucking dying to see him. What are we doing? Fuel bar tonight? Is that what we're doing? I'll fucking be there. I'll fucking be there. You better fucking believe it. You come to my city and think I'm not gonna show up? You fucking think I'm not gonna show up? I should have been the first one to be told. Right? Somebody should have sent me my invite. Mr. Marquez. That's right. We outside. We're doing fuel bar tonight? I'm fucking there, homie.
Rodney would have been aware that Manny was looking for him, but took no notice and continued to stream and go out as anyone would do. Rodney's stream that evening played out like the other hundreds of streams that he had done. It showed him and his wife Tanisha enjoying the famous Las Vegas Strip with their fans, taking in the cool summer breeze, joking and having fun. As usual, you guys know what I'm going to say, things were all going well until they weren't. At approximately 10:40 PM, Rodney and his wife found themselves outside the Bellagio Hotel and Casino, one of the city's most recognizable buildings situated on the Vegas Strip. On stream, Rodney and his wife can be seen dancing in the busy street. They were so busy, in fact, that they failed to notice Manny walk straight past them.
Thanks, donut.
Manny had watched Rodney's stream, and because he knew the area well, he rushed to the location that he was streaming. All captured on camera, you can see Manny walking straight past. At first, he pretends not to notice Rodney, but just a few seconds later, he appears on stream again, and this time he confronts Rodney directly. Tanisha tries to defend her husband, but before anyone could do anything, Manny pulled out a pistol and pulled the trigger.
Are you fucking kidding me?
At least 7 gunshots rang out as people scrambled for cover. Rodney was hit several times and he stumbled to the ground. Seeing her husband shot right in front of her, Tanisha recoiled in horror and attempted to help him, but as she did, she was also shot twice. The phone that was streaming then dropped to the concrete, and as Rodney and Tanisha lay there dying on the floor, Manny fled the scene. The stream continues to run. The next few minutes captures the audio of people running to their aid to find them both mortally wounded. You can hear a baby crying in the background, and you can hear people screaming at what they had just witnessed.
Nobody said they knew. They said they didn't know. Sarge, I need witnesses. They all fucking took off. They all fucking ran. Sarge, we need someone to Bellagio surveillance.
5 minutes later, police teams arrived at the scene, with one picking up the phone and asking viewers to identify the victims.
Hey, if you know this person, call the phone.
Ambulances arrived shortly after and tried their very best to save their lives, but sadly, their injuries proved fatal and they were both pronounced dead right there on the pavement. Absolutely tragic. A YouTube beef had not only ended one life, but two. Tanisha didn't do anything wrong. She wasn't even involved in the drama, and she had lost her life. Rodney was on the phone to his mother at the time of the murder. She had called him before shots were heard and the phone was dropped. Nobody should have to hear their son die. An urgent manhunt ensued to find who was responsible, but before anyone could be caught, the following day at 10 a.m., Manny handed himself into the police, claiming self-defense.
Let's just face the wall right here. We're just going to detain you real quick, okay? You got any weapons on or anything? All right. You could double cuff it if you want.
He told police that Rodney had pushed him and that he saw him reach for a gun. I'm not sure why he attempted to lie, because this whole encounter was captured on live stream for the entire world to see. It was clearly premeditated, so the police immediately arrested him on 2 counts of murder. His wife's involvement, Juliana, is under heavy scrutiny, but as of writing this, she has yet to be charged as an accessory, despite a public outcry following the release of a short video showing her walking away from the murder just seconds after.
Rodney and Tanisha Finley's son, who told police he was watching their live stream when the gunfire started and saw his parents get killed.
My daughter and my son-in-law were there, and there was a shooting. I'm trying to get information, is what I'm trying to do.
Tanisha's mother also called police, unsure why her daughter and Rodney had gone silent and hoping for any sign they were okay.
As this is pretty recent, court proceedings have yet to take place. Manny continues to be held in custody without bail until his court date. He is still pleading that he is innocent and claiming that this was all an act of self-defense. Online beef is one thing, but murdering 2 people in cold blood because of it is just insane, and I hope the judge throws the book at him.
Ruiz, who goes by the name Sin City Manny on YouTube, walked before a judge handcuffed.
Good morning, Mr. Ruiz. You were arrested for 2 counts of open murder with use of a deadly weapon.
An arrest report we obtained says Ruiz shot Rodney twice in the head and several times in the arm. He shot Tanisha in the back of the head. The shooting was captured on the Finny the Legend live stream.
It was all about who was the biggest Las Vegas YouTube content creator. And it was just, they was in competition. And when you watch YouTube, you see different creators competing for viewers. And that's what I thought it was about. I didn't think it was going to end in violence.
An arrest report says Ruiz fled the scene after the shooting and tossed a murder weapon in the Paris parking garage. Ruiz told police he was acting in self-defense, but investigators did not list in their arrest report any weapons on Rodney and Tanisha Finley.
They might talk about my eye, they might talk about the way I look, but I will never get a gun and shoot somebody. That's just crazy.
In the aftermath, Manny's channel was terminated, but Finny the Legend's channel remains to this day. His streams are all accessible, showing a frozen time capsule of a couple's life, snatched away by a man who didn't think twice. But that is the end of the video. May everyone featured rest in peace. Now, I don't know about you guys, but when live streams go wrong, they feel more personal. You feel like you were part and parcel of the moment, and even watching them after they're live, you still feel like you could have done something to help them. This entire video is no exception. In the first entry, Brian should have never got into his car that night. He was driving distracted at night, on his phone, all while traveling at speeds that he should have never ever been doing. I feel so bad about Robert, who was just driving along peacefully and lost his life. His kids lost their father, and their kids lost their granddad. Just horrible all round. He probably didn't even know what hit him before he was internally decapitated. And the fact that Brian left the scene, didn't call police or ambulances, only to leave the live stream up for police to see the next morning, is shocking. 15 years just doesn't seem long enough. Then we've got Valeria, shot in her own salon for seemingly no reason. That one shocked me to my core. Estimates vary, but it's often cited that between 80 and 90% of murders in Mexico go unsolved. So the chances of anyone being held accountable for this is slim. Obviously, we couldn't possibly forget the crash with the two Nicolas. That was totally preventable. This one you may already be aware of because it's quite a well-documented case, but they were so focused on the stream, ignoring signs and speeding, that they completely forgot about safety. The impact and the aftermath of the crash is horrible. Please, if you're driving a car and you're speeding, pay attention to the road. Don't be looking at your passenger's phone and replying to people in the comments, because this could easily be me or you. Then we've got the sudden death of Alexei on stream. What shocked me about this case is that it was literally 1 or 2 minutes before passing out that Alexei was screaming and shouting at his game, unaware that he would be dead within minutes. The 1 hour that he sat there dead on stream is bloody shocking. Then, finally, we've got the murder of Rodney Finley and his wife, Tanisha. This was just awful, avoidable, and childish. To kill 2 people over an online dispute is wild, and Manny will likely pay for his crimes heavily. I heard they're looking at a death sentence, but as I say, this case is fairly new, and court dates are yet to be set. The footage that came from that stream, showing Manny walk past once, and then return to kill, is terrifying. It's a perfect example of a stream turned fatal. But, as always, I'm intrigued as to what you guys thought below. Just before I go, if you're into this kind of content and you want to see it uncut, uncensored, and ad-free, be sure to check out my Patreon linked in the description below. And while you're down there, be sure to tap that sub button as well as that notification bell to be alerted when I release content such as this. But I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.